stream. I really should get some BGM that's kind of gentle for like these types of streams, but I don't have one. Will there be an exam? The exam is in your heart. And after I do the lesson. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Mercy's educational stream about how periods work. Thank you, Raven, for the 333. I can't wait for Mercy to teach us about the proper punctuation marks, periods, commas, columns, semicolons. So much to learn about that. About that. About that. It's not that type of period, sorry. Hold on, I need my speaker's notes for this. I have a whole thing for this too. I'm sorry, but did you tweet? Thank you, Kay, for this too. Yes, I did! I didn't tweet on the Blisky though, but I tweeted here. Learned a bit of this from my sisters. Good. This isn't English 101. Sit down! Sit down! You're in class right now with me, Mercy Modiste. Anyways, we are going to talk about menstrual cycle or the menstruation period. Haha, wrong period. Anyone who thought I was gonna talk about punctuation, sorry, you're in the wrong place. I don't even use proper punctuation in this really basic slideshow I made. Okay. Good course refresher. Hands up, anybody. Have you? Have you, have you been curious about the menstrual cycle before? Or if you already know, are you just here to just be fun? To just be fun, to just have a good time? Or are you actually like, you know, actually curious? Okay. All right. This will be a cursory, cursory overview with a little, slightly a little bit more in depth. Slightly, like not even that much more in depth than what you have, than what you're probably taught. So we're just gonna do some like overview, how it works, blah blah blah, and some like this is really surprising, but even my own father doesn't know about these things. So here we go. What's a period and why do we call it that? Okay, so the menstruation cycle is a monthly cycle in where there is vaginal bleeding for a period of between 3 to 8 days. Will there be picture examples, Kohai? I didn't really have picture examples ready, sorry. It is usually abnormal if it goes longer for those days. Those, in that case, I would suggest you go see a doctor. To see a doctor about it. When I first got it, it was, well, it was, it lasted for about 2 weeks and I had to go to the doctor about it. So, yeah, it's not supposed to last that long. And it usually happens every 21 to 38 days, which is generally a month. why do we call it a period? Or slash Shark Week slash, Mother Nature. They're all euphemisms that have just gotten used in the public consciousness. Period also suggests the length of time, so it's been used interchangeably with menstruation. So you can call it anything. You'll probably be roughly in the same zone. I will be using period and menstruation interchangeably as well. And a little fun fact. Did you know that studies suggest that men also go through monthly hormonal swings as well when testosterone levels are low and irritability becomes higher? So if you find yourself wondering, wow, I have no idea why I'm so angry today, maybe you too are going through a hormonal imbalance in your life. It can happen monthly, or it can also happen weekly or every other day. It can also be a sign of other health issues as well. So, things to talk to your doctor about if you notice you have a greater sense of irritability and mood swings. It can be your own hormones also acting up, but you won't but you won't suffer through like a regular period where the blood is coming out. You'll just have like the hormonal feelings. Okay, so how does it work? Thank you, Cleveland's Clinic. So usually between the ages of 8 to 14, average is around 12 years old is when you'll begin to get your first period. I think when I got my first period, I think I was 14. It can be as late as 15. If you haven't gotten your period by the time you're past that, you may want to talk to a doctor about it. But I don't think there's any kids here. But if maybe your sister or, a niece finds themselves unable to get their period by 15, maybe talk to a doctor or someone. It can start as low as 8. I had a friend who got it at when she was 9. I think she's the youngest person that I know who got their period quite early. So during this time, your hormones are the chemical signals that sends the signal saying like, oh, guess what? It's time for the period. The pituitary gland, which is the little part in the brain that controls hormone levels in the brain, sends signals to the ovary to release the eggs. And, hold on, I got something for you. Look at that, I have a little egg. Okay, it's big. It can come off from either side, so it can be this side, or it can come from this side. I'm going to use this side for ease of use. Egg, I know. An ovary egg, basically. So, actually, they send out, like, a lot of eggs that go into, like, a little cell pack, and then one of them grows, and when it grows, it actually becomes the biggest cell in the body when it's made. So, at this time, the uterus begins to thicken with what's called an endometrial lining to basically catch the egg. If the egg is fertilized, so let's grab the egg here. It goes through the fallopian tubes, and there it goes here. So if the egg is fertilized, it will cling onto the endometrial lining, and that's where the egg will get its nutrients. But if it hasn't, what happens is that it will start to release it, and out it goes out here, and that's how you get your period, is because the endometrial lining releases since nothing's happening, and that's how you get your period. And that's where the bleeding happens. There can be tons of complications with this because, well, body hates people and lots of things happen. There are cases in which where the endometrial lining is not in the uterus, which is abnormal, and that can cause other problems. Sometimes the endometrial lining can also go past through the cervix into the vagina as well, and causing more problems. More problems. What you need to know is that during an ovulation, Senpai, thank you, Anonymous, for 333. The picture is from 2021. Is this still up to date, or have women received a new update since then? It should be relatively up to date. I'll get to your questions later, don't worry. Well, we're gonna get there too, soon. So, each time that you have your ovulation, only one ovulation happens per month. So there's no 2 different times where like, oh, this egg is gonna go, and then maybe like 24 hours this one's gonna go. That doesn't happen. What can happen is that there's a possibility of having 2 or more eggs at the same time come out. And when this happens, and if they happen to get fertilized, you can conceive fraternal twins. But to have 2 separate eggs released at different times within the same cycle kind of just doesn't happen. So, in your ovaries, it is said that you are born with all the eggs you will ever have. We'll talk more about this later. And soon and over time, you release and release and release, and then you don't have any anymore. At least what we know for so far. Hold on. Let me check my notes. Yeah. So that's how your period works generally. Wee, there's my thing, and it can happen on this side too. Wee. There's a finite amount. We'll talk about that soon. All right. What is PMSing? It stands for, or what is PMS? It stands for premenstrual syndrome. The pre means it usually happens before your period, during, and may take a while to go away. Usually the changes are caused because of hormone levels playing a role. There is a caveat as well. Not everyone gets it. Azura made me put this in. It's like, and Azura hates you if you don't have like PMS. So the symptoms of PMS, it includes acne. So usually you'll start seeing acne maybe 2 weeks before your cycle. You may feel some bloating, which is kind of like, feeling like you're full all the time. You'll get backaches, constipation, diarrhea. I sometimes get a fever as well. Some food cravings when you're suddenly like, oh, I really want this one food. It can be similar to having cravings when you're pregnant, pregnancy cravings as well. Mood swings, etc. Severe versions can happen and also needs to be checked with the doctor. Everyone hates this, by the way. Everyone hates this. But not everyone suffers from it, and those who who don't are very lucky, and I frankly hate you. So yeah, there's a lot of things happening during this time, and it happens every month, which kind of sucks, right? Cramps. Let's talk about cramps. Cramps, also known as dysmenorrhea. It is the pain that happens. It happens due to a chemical called prostaglandin, which causes contractions, tightening up. And the contractions are what causes the uterus to shed the lining. You get it? So everyone suffers this kind of pain. Well, it's not always painful for people. So usually that's how the blood starts coming out. Is that you start having the contractions, which is just tightening up. Usually, it starts before. I don't get it. Okay, let's go back a few slides then. Hold on. Okay. Remember when I said that there's a lining that happens when the uterus is about to receive the egg, there is a lining that happens that lines the wall of the uterus. Your period, the blood that happens is the shedding of it. So it goes through the cervix into the vagina when the egg has not been fertilized. All right? Did someone just say getting hit in the balls is worse than period cramps? I think they're both equally painful. But period cramps aren't... You can kind of avoid getting hit in the balls. You can avoid getting hit in the balls. You really can't avoid this. Unless you're gonna get the monthly kick. But I don't think it's better or worse, to be honest. But I don't think you've ever had cramps before like this, so... So it's fine. Anyways, where were we? Right, cramps. It usually happens before and throughout your period and usually subsides a few days after. Many people suffer from severe cramping, which can actually debilitate and interfere with their daily lives. Like, some people actually have such severe cramping that they cannot do anything. They cannot move. And that's just how the body is sometimes. The body just hates you. Sometimes it happens. I know it happens to a lot of my friends and stuff as well, where it actually hurts so bad that sometimes they actually have to go to the doctor to get some kind of relief for it. Oops, I forgot the egg is still there. While you have cramps as well, you can have symptoms of nausea, headache, backache, etc. And usually when that happens, it's accompanying the pain as well, caused by the constrictions. Talk to your doctor about that, especially if you have severe cramps, Like, it hurts so bad. Like, it hurts so bad that you can't go anywhere. And some people have been hospitalized just due to cramps. Is there menstrual cramp medicine? You can take, doctors usually prescribe, birth control, but obviously it's going to be different for your doctor. And, if you don't want to do medicine route kind of way, I can also suggest, take a heavy book and put it on top of that area and just like let it calm down. So, but once again, let it calm down. You can put a book to just kind of like ease the pain as well. Heat pads you can use. People use ibuprofen, you know, like Advil and stuff. Weighted blankets are good too. Exactly. Just to ease the contractions a little bit more. Senpai, thank you. Thank you, darling V Senpai, for the 3. In the name of gender equality, I will start taking monthly kicks to the I think it's fine. Because men also go like I said earlier, men also go through a hormonal balance change. It can happen once a week or once every month. As well. So if there are times where you're just like, oh, I'm really angry for some reason, maybe my hormones are out of whack, and maybe you can talk to your doctor about it a little bit more too. Is it the skin/lining or muscle that's contracting? It is the muscle. Anyways, so, oh wait, I made notes of this. So, there are also doctors who also give you a synthetic form, prostaglandin, to like treat several conditions as well. So the hormone, prostaglandin, that affect several body functions, including inflammation, pain, and contractions. There you go. It controls that. Hormones are the signals that they send to the brain. Okay, next one. What is menopause? Menopause is when your period usually stops around the age of 50. This is because people usually say that it's because there's just simply no more eggs left. This means that during this pause, it will be very, very difficult to conceive a baby. At this point, there are people who will usually either get their eggs kind of like frozen so that it can be used at a later time, or they have like adoption choices, etc. Difficult but not impossible. Usually they say it's impossible, but there have been times, because the human body is really weird, there have been people who managed to give birth way past the point of menopause, and perhaps like, you know, it's just really weird stuff happening. But usually the average at this time is said that usually around the age of 50 is when you're about to run out of eggs, and that's when you kind of stop. So you, at that point, you will no longer have a period. You will no longer shed the lining. But there have been constant studies revealing all new things about menopause. And in a study in 2004 and 2014 as well, I believe, and I think there's some new ones that I haven't checked out. They have seen the body has the ability to regenerate eggs, but the study is still in its infancy. So, who knows? Maybe in the future we'll find out that, hey, we can just make more eggs, you know? As opposed to what people think now, the common idea is that you were born with as much eggs as you're gonna have. How long is the study projected to last? Probably the rest of our lives. People are finding new things all the time. And at this time, I do want to say, though, that I do not believe that this age would be like, this age is considered like less, or like you are no longer a woman. Because when eggs are in demand, eggs are in demand. But also, once again, more studies are showing that maybe this is not the case, and there has been shown that you know, there have been women way past the age of menopause that have had babies before. All right. Next. Why is it important to track your period? Most people that get periods will track them. Doctors will ask you to track your period because it is one of the biggest health indicators about what's going on with you. Which is why you always get a pap test every once in a while. It is part of your regular health checkouts, and the body just does really weird things. I can tell you, for a while, I tracked my period, and I actually did not have my period for quite a long time, and I had to go to the doctor about it. I just forgot it exists. You can track it with an app, or you can track it, you know, regular calendar. And I had to go to the doctor about it, and the doctor was like, this is not good. This is not good. Actually, it was during a time of really high stress, and I'm very susceptible to stress. So usually, because during high stress, I will not get my period, which makes me quite irregular. So that's not very normal, and so I have a lot of reasons. Yeah. Reasons why I track my period as well. It's simply good practice. You can also track your period to determine when the best time it is to get pregnant. Or when the best time for it to not. But even if you are not trying to get pregnant or sexually active, you will still be asked to track it. There are some people that track it, but once again, if you track it to have like no protection, I think that is very, very high risk, because once again, your body does really weird things, and you might have like a little secret egg going, you know? So, it's never 100% if you track it that way. I would not track it that way, but I would just say it's really good. It's really good to just track your period in general, just for health reasons. For example, I had to try to predict when, is that what they call safe days? Yes, that's what they call safe days, are the days where you're unlikely to be ovulating and having the egg travel, as well as you're unlikely to get pregnant during those days. Once again, it is not always right. It is always weird, okay? There is no such thing as a safe day. Like, there is no such thing as a safe day. Because every day is a dangerous day, especially when I'm around. Anyways, yeah, I would recommend everyone to track it, even if you're not getting pregnant or even if you're not sexually active. It's just to check out your health. I always have to show my app to my doctor so that they can be like, okay, everything looks okay, your hormones are okay, what's going on here, etc. I also had to use my tracker once to predict when my period would happen, because I was gonna go swimming. Because I was gonna go swimming and I didn't want to go swimming on a day where it was likely to happen, you know? The struggle is real. Should we be tracking our Oshis? I would be really impressed if you could track your Oshis. Menstruation cycle, not gonna lie. I would be a little impressed, but also a little concerned. Because why? Why? Yeah, I don't know why you would do it. It's a little, what do the kids say nowadays? Weird champ to me. If you're tracking someone else's cycle. Because what are you gonna do with that information? Yeah. I don't know why you would need that information, right? It's just one of those things where I'm like, you just have like useless facts in your mind. Menopause. Just kidding. Manifest the psycho sync up. Actually, it's really funny, but like when you hang out with the girls, you end up syncing up with the girls. It's really funny because the saying goes that the person who you synced up with is the alpha. Is the person who it happens. It actually happens a lot. Sometimes you're like, oh, now your period's on different days than the days that you expect it. Who's the alpha in VAllure then? I think a couple of the girls did sync up, which is really funny, right? Not me. Not me. There's not enough research on why that happens, but the idea is that mayhaps that mayhaps like sending out signals like it sends out signals, and like your body sends out signals to other people, and then you end up for some reason sinking. It's kind of weird. Can it happen over the internet? It's really funny, but there are coincidences in which that does happen in case with VAllure as well. I'm not going to tell you who, but just know that it happens. I also I've synced up with like with several of my friends too. Like over the internet. I'm like, "Oh, dang, you're the alpha." And oh yeah, and if it's a psychological thing, why couldn't it happen over the internet? It just might happen. So that is another reason why it's important. Thank you, Dark Ride Dragon, for the 10 gifted. Scholarship ball. Yeah, your course is paid for. But that is also important why you need to track your period as well. Is it gonna stop? Is it gonna stop? There you go. Why you need to track your period as well, because it can change. It can change. Like, I used to be, like, when I first had my period, I used to be at roughly around the mid-month, around the 15th. Now I don't know. Now I don't know, because it seems to change all the time now. Oh boy, period lottery. Let's go gambling. Aw, dang it. Aw, dang it. Aw, dang it. So yeah, that's how it happens. There aren't many studies. A lot of people still don't know why it happens, but it just does. And sometimes people find that, like, coincidentally, I saw some people say, "Oh, your periods are tracked by..." It sometimes happens. Sometimes happens that, like, people sometimes get their period during a full moon or a new moon or whatever. But generally, it's a healthy thing to do. So if you see, I've seen this a lot, which I really don't like, which is that people are like, "Oh, you know, if you have a period tracker, you're a whore." I don't like that, because all doctors ask you to track it. Like, all of them. Where did the association come from? Because of the idea of safe days. People think that you only track your period to see what days are safe. And I'm like, huh? It's a health, like, bruh, like, if they have a period app, it's usually because they're seeing a doctor regularly about their health. But yeah, femcell moment. Yeah, honestly. Let's continue. I don't have that many slides here, so this might actually be a very short stream, but all doctors will ask you to track your cycles, even if you are regular, even if you are, like, usually on time, etc. It's just useful to know. And usually if there's a health issue that arises, they're like, could could it be related to so-and-so? And usually that's kind of like what they base things off of. Okay, let's go next slide. I don't have pictures for this one, sorry. You alright? I'm a bit flummy today. What are some things, wow, what did I write there? What are some things for your period? What did I write there? What did I even write there? Okay, I want to change, whatever. Minor spelling mistake. What are some things to use for your period? Okay. Sorry. So, you can use pads. This is the most common one. There's all sorts of them. They've got wings, they got liners, they got maxis, they got like extra thick, they got ones for just lining the panties, etc. Tampons are the second most common. Does pad with wings fly? Unfortunately, no. Wings are the, you know how in a pad there are the two flaps there? They call them wings that hold it onto the panties. Pads can also depend on your flow, right? Usually, yes. If you find yourself that you bleed quite heavily, use a max. If you have like normal, like you find like a normal amount would be like a tablespoon is what people usually say. Use the regular, and if you have very, very light, use liners. Mercy Sensei, are pads or tampons better, or is it a preference thing? It's a preference thing. It can also be a cultural thing too. I know some places and some girls don't use tampons because it can be considered as like, you know, losing your virginity. But I don't really believe that because, you know, in my opinion, it is not the case. Excuse me. Thank you, Dark Ride Dragon, for the 50s super. This is the mental buff I needed for the mental debuff of this. That is Guild Wars. Oops. Good luck on that. Thank you, Anonymous, for the 33. All right, babe. I'm in the pad aisle. Size your I generally have heavy flow. I don't use pads. I use pads and extra security, to be honest. Is this another reason to track your period so you can use a pad shortly before your period starts? Yes. Often people, when they see, oh, I'm about to get it, I should prepare myself and put on a pad just in case. Tampons essentially is like a little cotton stick that goes up the vagina to absorb the blood, and you have to remember to take it out. I think for tampons, because it absorbs it, you have to take it out every 6 hours. Otherwise, you're at risk of getting toxic shock syndrome, which can lead to death. Like, literally, it can cause death. Basically, what happens is that the body gets an infection and the effect due to things, and it's gone, you know? Are tampons uncomfortable? It depends on the person. Some people think tampons are incredibly comfortable. Some people go, oh, no, I can't do it because I can feel it all the time. The pad needs changing in like a few days. The pad needs changing every few hours. You can't use one pad a day. You can't use one pad a day. So every few hours, you need to replace it. Ideally, after each time you go to the bathroom, you need to replace it because you don't want to have blood back up. Why not wear diapers? Cost. Do you know how much diapers cost? Do you know how much babies cost? Cups. I personally use a cup. It's the same. It's very similar to a tampon, except for it catches the blood and it's reusable. It catches the blood, so you take it out, and then you kind of like dump it, and then you wash it, and then go back in again. Oh my gosh! Rena, thank you for the raid. Everybody say happy birthday, Rena! Happy birthday to you. Hold on. Mid-lesson birthday distraction. Where is it? There we go. I had one bad. Is that the automaton? Yeah, that was the automaton. I did it. It's really, but like, happy birthday! Happy birthday, I'm so glad. Well, thank you for the raid. I know exactly what happened there, so I don't need to know. But of course, and I've already introduced myself because I was shortly before the stream. I actually was on Rena's channel doing a call-in. So I don't think I need to reintroduce myself, but I'll reintroduce myself again anyways. Hello, my name is Mercy Modiste. I'm from VAllure's Gen 1 Indulge. I am a pawn dorky yandere. And today we are learning about the menstrual cycle / period / whatever. So we are talking about periods. Yeah, Rena misheard me say Palm Yorkie. And Arian was like, wow, I didn't know you were a dog. And I was like, oh. Let me recall. Yes, cups can be used up to 12 hours. That's really cool. The reason why it can be used up to 12 hours is because it's not absorbing the blood, it's rather catching the blood. But any longer than that, I would not recommend. It is said that it allows sort of like a 1 to 3 hour like time period. So please empty it out, clean it out. If like you use a cup to also avoid toxic shock syndrome. Period panties, the same as pads, but it's reusable and it's panties. So there are people who use period panties, especially if someone has very light flow. I would not recommend period panties if you're a heavy flow gal, but generally saying that like if you don't have enough to like maybe change it or you're out just for a little bit, you can use period panties. And basically what they do is they wash out the blood and it's all clean and used for next time. There are also something called discs. Discs are kind of new. Discs are kind of new, but not really. There've been like just like cups. Cups have been around since the 70s, I believe. But discs are sort of new. They're gaining a lot more popularity because and here's the cool part. Here's the cool part that I learned. You can actually have sexual intercourse while a disc is inside. So what happens is that you kind of tuck it behind the pelvic bones and it lines against the cervix where it catches the blood as it comes out. And when you pull and then you kind of like reach in and pull it, and you can just dump it up like a cup. It takes a little finessing. Apparently, I don't use a disc, but some of my friends do, married friends do, and they say that they've said like you can't even feel it. I'm like, huh, that's interesting. But that is a choice if you'd like as well. So what happened? So it it kind of lays against the cervix and then it just catches it as it comes out. So that's and also it stays in a bit better. There's some people who've said that even if they aren't like sexually active, does it go up there like an IUD? No. An IUD will actually go into the cervix while the disc just lays against it. So the disc, some people find it really, really easy to use, and some people find it more comfortable as well to use and a bit cleaner. Some people find it a bit cleaner as well. I personally use a cup. I call it the blood chalice. I call it the blood chalice. But it is very comfortable for me, but it does have the occasional moving, you know? It does have the movement issue. So sometimes when you move, it will kind of like collapse. So it will just be like, and then you have to like fix it again. So that is some things that you can use for your period as well. There are some other things that I have not listed, but these are the main things that I know of off the top of my head. So usually when you first start, it will be pads or tampons, and the rest is kind of like, you know, eventually you grow used to it over time. I definitely use the cup myself. It's been super handy. It makes it easier because when I used to have pads, I would have to change the pad every hour because I just had so much blood. I just had so much blood. And now if I have like a period that's quite heavy, I can still use the cup, but only change it every 6 hours instead. And my pads used to like leak as well, so it would like get all over the place because I just had such a heavy period. Has there ever been a time where you had to switch from cups to tampons or pads? Yes, I had to switch before once because I just misplaced where I put the cup. So I use pads. I don't use I use pads instead. Discs are made of rubber, sponge, or what? The disc is silicone. Doesn't that increase the risk of STDs? No, it shouldn't. STDs are only are. Oh, are you talking about during sexual intercourse? Yeah, in the case of sexual intercourse, do not use use the disc as a as protection. Like at all. Please do not use it as protection. There is the chance that it could one tear, two shift as like a contraceptive. Yeah, please do not use it as a contraceptive at all. But does that increase the risk of STDs? No. I don't believe so. Okay. Any more questions? Now you should know more about periods and the basics. And there are way more complicated stuff in this, but I have given you the overview of the basics of how it works. Maybe you learned a little bit more than what you learned in high school, or I actually learned about the menstrual cycle in elementary school. In elementary school. Yeah. What should men do to their girlfriends on their periods? Treat them nicely. Just be a little more gentle, I guess. Can multiple people get pregnant at the same time if they are synced at the same time? If they have, you know, sexual intercourse on the same day? I guess? I guess they can. Now I can take better care of my girlfriend. What are you talking about? It's me. If you have your eggs removed and frozen, does that prevent menstruation cramping? Yes and no, because generally, if you have your eggs removed, yes, that would suggest that you wouldn't have menstrual cramping because you wouldn't have lining. But once again, the body's weird. The body is weird. Maybe you didn't get all the eggs removed, and so you might still have your period. You know? Body weird. It does weird stuff. Thank you, Misk, for 65 for the 20 gifted. Thank you. You have all been so generous today. Thank you so much. Can you tell which side an egg is released from, or is that pseudoscience? I honestly do not know, but if you can figure it out based off of something, sure. Thank you for the 5 super rockin' sockums. My high school never taught me about period or much about the female body, so thanks for this, Mercy. Thank you. It's actually just a... It's just a cursory overview. There's so much more to period health, and more complications than you can ever imagine. Thank you. Thank you so much, Crazy Jesse, for the 10. Everyone's being so kind. Another question I have is, what do you use to clean all the blood in the cups and discs? I use simply soap and water. I also I bought the a cleanser for cups and discs as well. Can someone be left ovary or right ovary dominant? They can be, but also usually it's supposed to at least like switch between each side, but once again, the body can be weird, right? Thank you for the 3 tip. Darlin V. Sepai, thank you for the lesson. I genuinely feel more informed, especially the specifics and details of period supplies. Info that will last a lifetime. If you ever feel like doing a follow-up to other women's health, I'd be really interested. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you once again, Dark Eye Dragon, for the 50 gifted. Why is everyone gifting so much? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Actually, I don't think gifting 50 is too much. I think the emote tier is actually quite low, so it's not actually that much. They just really want to hear Fondle a Bosom. Yeah, that's Strawny's voice doing it. How do you insert a disc? So the disc comes and you kind of squeeze it. You squeeze the sides. There's many ways you can do it, but the most common way is that you squeeze the side because it's silicone. So, and then it will kind of like open up again. So you insert it like a tampon, and then you basically kind of tuck it behind your pelvic bone, and that's how it stays. That's it. That's how you do it. Like a mini umbrella. Maybe not an umbrella. I wouldn't call it an umbrella. I'm glad you all really like Fondle a Bosom. That might change in the future. That might change in the future. I might change in the future, yeah. So, periods still happen monthly even after the age of 14. What? That's when you start. That's when it just starts. What are you talking about? Most people start... A lot of girls start around that time. You mean 40? Thank you, boy, for gifting 1. So are discs like one of those suction toys that are banned because they kept violently inverting and launching into kids' faces? They kind of look like that, but I assure you they're not the same thing. Thank you, Gold Mario, for the 50... not the 5,500. For the 2 Supa. They do kind of look like that. But the disc is actually, it's a little band, and the silicone pouch area can be actually really thin. Can actually be like really thin. So the purpose of it, like honestly, I've seen one in person and I was like, wow, like a new one, right? Like it actually has it feels a lot like, I don't know, it's so thin. I thought it was, I was like, is this gonna catch anything? But apparently it's very sturdy. It is not a condom. It's not a condom. It just catches. It is only to be used as a to catch the period blood, and then you just dump it out. Do not use it as a condom at all. I would not recommend it. I would not. It's not meant for that. Like a bucket under a leaky sink, sort of. I would say that's more like the cup. This one is more like, I don't know how to say it. It's more like, you know, it's constantly being held there. It's constantly being held there. It has the same time limit, quote unquote, as the cup, being 12 hours. So you just, every 12 hours, they reach in. There's usually a little pull thing where you can pull it out and then dump it out. So yeah. This might be a weird question, but do you ever feel envious of men for not getting periods? Yes, but then there's also some women who also don't have periods, so I'm just like, I'm also jealous of them too. There are times when my period can be absolutely, like, devastating. There are times where my cramps can be awful. There are times where I just can't, you know, I just can't do it, man. I gotta take a few days off. I have to, because, like, it could be so much pain that, like, it's literally debilitating, or there's just so much blood that you're just like, oh, this is awful. Is it true that you can perpetually stall it if you skip the placebo birth control pills? The body, I guess you can. But the thing is that the body, if you feel like the body and the brain is really, really scary, so that even if you feel like you're dead, your body can literally if you really think really hard, like this is true, your body can completely shut down and actually die. So the body is really weird. So yes, it can do a lot of weird things like that. My great-grandmother once told me that periods are punishment for women not finding a suitable man to settle down with. Everyone has it. Everyone has it. It's more like an indicator, really. I would not agree with that, because in your life, you will have a period every month. That means you would have to be pregnant a lot of times. And that's just not a thing, you know? That's just not a thing. In this economy, if you have more than 3 kids, I praise you quite a bit. But periods aren't just humans. There are actually, I've actually seen birds have periods. I've also seen dogs that have periods as well. So it is not just humans that get it. You know? Periods are, every woman goes goes through periods. I always assumed it was just a mammal. I've seen like a bird have it, so yeah. Lots of animals have periods. But mostly what we usually do with older people like that is we say yes grandma and just nod. It is unfortunate that there are misconceptions about periods. That even women believe. Which is why it's very important. I really, truly do believe that, like, education is the best indicator, because this is just science, basically. I got a question. Why are we learning this, Miss Modiste? To be honest, it's because I think I read read a comment before that someone was very confused about periods, and I was like, oh, I can make this a whole lesson. I know quite a bit about periods. Simply because it pertains for me. Pertains to me, and I think it'll be really fun to learn about it. Knowledge is power, and I feel like a lot of people could benefit or even just learn something new. I love learning, so my favorite thing to do when I go when I go to a new place is usually to go to the museum, because I want to know more about like a new place and what it's all about. So I really value education a lot. And learning is just fun. Learning is just fun. So I thought it would be fun for me. I don't know if it was fun for you. I hope it was sort of fun for you to learn about how the menstrual cycle works. I find that a lot of people, surprisingly, don't know a lot about it. So I thought it would be nice to talk about it just a little bit in a cursory way. This is a weird question, but so eggs are in the period blood, right? Why can't we use it? Do we use the blood for transfusions? It's the endometrial lining. It has nutrients that are not that are different from regular blood. I, a woman, have learned more in this stream than my health classes. Ian! Hold on! Wait, hold on, Ian. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna turn this off a little bit. I need to get Ian's thing, but hold on. Because I'm doing a Windows capture right now. That is not safe to do. Give me a second. I need the cute girl wrench. Oh gosh, I closed everything cause I am window capturing from my thing. Yeah. At as moderator, standard moderator. Let's go. Now get to work. Is drinking period healthy? No. Please do not. Any bodily fluids are considered biohazards, so please do not consume, period. Who's Ian? Ian is a great ASMR artist. Yeah. Senpai! Thank you for the 333 Anonymous. Any more insights you could share on which moment of the cycle women are usually more are at their happiest mood? Usually, it's when the ovulation happens. Oh my gosh, Azura! Azura! Hold on. I gotta get my slides out again so that it doesn't seem weird. I brought you more students. More students? Yeah, we're at kind of the end, but I'm willing to answer any questions and repeat anything that I've already talked about before as well. Welcome! Welcome everyone to the stream. If you don't know who I am... well, you're gonna get a spanking, I guess. But... welcome to the stream, everyone. Today we are learning about periods. Periods, aka the menstruation cycle, menstrual cycle, whatever you want to call it. I did have a question, so sorry about the any more insights. It is because during when the egg is released, the body goes pregnant now. And that is the ovulation period. That is the ovulation period. And that is when that is before the period happens. So there's going to be a part where it would probably be considered the days that are considered you are most likely to be pregnant is probably the day when the hormones are high. Pregnant. I asked earlier, but how does diet affect the menstrual cycle? Personally, I don't know. Personally, I don't really know how diet affects the menstrual cycle. But I do know that during the menstrual cycle, because of a bunch of nutrients and you're releasing a lining, there are some women who get, who actually, what's the word, when you have less blood? When you're like running low on blood. Anemic, yes, thank you. Anemic, that actually get anemic because maybe they are releasing more blood than regular. And stress can very affect it too. Can cause it to be late. A poor diet probably doesn't help as well. Any side effects if I were to drink, period? Upset stomach, diarrhea, you might have to go to a hospital. I would not recommend it. If I were a woman, I'd like to have early menopause. Menopause can happen quite early. It really depends on how it is. It really depends on the person. And generally, the body just usually hates you and it doesn't do everything as planned. That's why people get sick. And that's why there are like chronic illnesses as well. Apologies if this is answered earlier, Kohai. Is it right to assume generally the heavier the flow, the worse the pain / cramps? It is a good assumption, but once again, the body is really weird and some people just don't experience cramps or pain. Even if they have like a super heavy flow, they might not just experience it. That's it. What would happen if a man has happy, happy fun time with a woman who's on her period? It is generally said that a woman who is on her period during that time is actually highly more sensitive, because it is during the time where the lining is being shed. So it's highly more sensitive, and it can cause the woman to feel better during that time. What else? Yeah, it is. That's it. That's it. I learned that from a... Did you discuss toxic shock syndrome at all? Yes, I did. But for some, it can be painful. Because some people, obviously, for some, it can be painful, yes. I don't know if my friend was trolling or not. Does tying your tubes actually stop your period? I don't know. Because once again, the body is weird, because maybe the egg is already sent out the hormonal signals and it just stops, right? But maybe the lining already happened, you know? When you tie your tubes, the fallopian tubes, it just causes the egg to not be able to go through, right? So I'm not really sure. I didn't actually think about adding anything like that to the course. Yeah, and lots of parts. Think of your body as like a really big corporation. Really big corporation. You have many things going in between as well. And sometimes messages, hormones, are going to get, like, some things might not send correctly. That's just how it is. Are periods different for each person? Yes. Or is it mostly the same? The science behind it is generally the same. Each person will have vastly different periods. Like, very vastly. So for example, one of my friends, no, I'll do my sister. You know what? My sister. My sister is very light flow. I am a heavy flow girl. So it's very different with her, because all she really she suffers mostly from back aches. I mostly suffer from cramps and acne as well. So each person is, like, really different. I also have some bloating as well during the time. A lot of my female friends get moody. Fun fact. You men also get moody during a certain during month, once a month as well. The moodiness is caused from PMS, which is usually a sign from the hormones to tell you that your period is coming up. You can get cravings, one of the side effects can be mood swings and irritability. Can be irritability at that time, though. Just be patient. Don't worry about it. As a guy, there are also hormone imbalances that can happen in guys too. It can happen once a month, once a week, or every other day. If it happens every other day and you find yourself quite irritable at times, please talk to a doctor, and maybe they'll help with some hormonal imbalancing and see if that works out. But generally speaking, everyone has like hormonal issues. Thank you, Just Noel, for the 6 Supa. How do I keep a girl on her period happy? Be extra caring at that time. Offer to help, I guess. If for example, your girlfriend, which is kind of weird if you're. Well, it's kind of. I hope you find it interesting if you have a girlfriend and watch me, but offer to do things for her. Maybe get her a heating pad. Watch movies together. You know, just be kind. Just be kind. I feel like a little bit of patience can go a long way. I just think it is a little weird because of the content that I do. I think it'd be a little weird for our content, but if anyone does have like a wife or a girlfriend, more power to you. And like, you know, offer food. For food cravings that I usually get before my period as well is usually really random. Like really random. So you may have seen that I may have had a very big cheeseburger kick that may or may not have been a craving. Sometimes it's really weird. I think I remember there was a specific time where I would eat nothing but sourdough bread for a few days before it would hit. Like plain sourdough. Yeah, like plain sourdough bread. Like, it's really weird what some of the cravings can be. Sometimes it's just like, do you normally eat sourdough? No, not really. I usually eat whole wheat. I usually eat whole wheat. Or multigrain. Or some kind of grain. What's my most basic craving? It's usually sushi, like fish, like raw fish for some reason. But yeah, generally saying, yeah, like the body can be very weird, so anything that can happen in hypotheticals and stuff might be able to happen or might not happen. It can happen to some people, can not happen to some people. But my cravings during the times changes quite drastically. Like it can change a lot. Is there any more questions? That's just me, though. There's some people who are very, what's the word? Normal? They have, like, regular cravings, or they don't, experience food cravings at all. Like, I know one friend gets, like, the urge to just eat potato chips, and it's always potato chips. Can, chocolate help with this? It can. It can help with it. Chocolate has been found to raise happy stuff. Oh, what's the happy hormone again? I'm losing my words because everything's just like, yes, period now. Dopamine, yeah. It can help raise dopamine, and serotonin as well. Yes. So chocolate can help with that as well. And make you feel good. It can make you feel good. So yes, chocolate can help, but also it really depends on the person as well. Oh, hi, Kohai. I have a question, actually. I have this friend, and she gets super moody a lot of the times. Does this mean she's having hormone issues? It could mean that. It could mean that she's having hormone issues. But I would not tell her that. I would not tell her that. Does that make sense? I would not tell her that, because being told that you're on your period is really upsetting. But there is... Does being pregnant stop PMS issues? Being pregnant has a lot more issues. Has a lot more issues with it. So, when you are finally pregnant, I would highly recommend to go see a doctor and make a plan about your pregnancy. Thank you, Just Noel, for the 6. How do we keep Kohai happy during her period? Be patient, be kind. That's really all I ask for you all the time. Like, literally, that's all I ask of you all the time, is just to be kind and patient. Just the same old as always. Kind, patient. Does heated blankets work for periods? It can. It can. I did see someone suggest using a heated blanket. So heat can help relieve the pain when you're cramping. Mm-hmm. No question, but sorry that you have to spend so much money a month on pads and treatments and stuff. I actually saved a little bit of money now that I've moved to cups, because the cup is reusable. But I still have to use a lining just in case. In case it overflows. So I don't actually spend that much on period products anymore. But when I did use pads, I would be spending so much. So much on pads, because I had heavy flow. Is this gonna be on the exam? No, because there's no exams in this class. You keep the information in your heart. You buy bulk from Costco then? Yeah, I buy bulk from Costco. In emergencies though, I just go to like the nearest drugstore. Senpai! Thank you, Anonymous, for the 333. Need a part 2 for Greganante. I won't lie to you. I don't have any experience with Greganant, and I don't have a lot of experience with other people who have been Greganant either. So So that's going to be a topic where I also have to do a lot of studying for. And once again, it also is much different per women as well. So do you want experience? Thank you for offering. So most likely the best place you're gonna get Regnante information is A, from a doctor, and B, from a woman who was pregnant or has had several pregnancies. So basically ask your mom about it. Is the pad, etc., shelf life long enough for bulk buying? Yes. I don't think they expire. Because I've used one that's pretty old. They're in like these sanitary, what do you call it? Mods, can someone delete that? Thank you. It takes like years for it to dissolve. Actually, I'll do it. There we go. So it should last quite a long time. The ones that have like something like lotions attached to it, the lotion would expire, but I don't think the pads themselves expire. Because they are quite sanitary. They're in like a little plastic that keeps it away from like different things, different like moisture and all that stuff. So it will usually be a very fresh one when you open it up. So back in like way back then when pads weren't a thing, what did women do instead? From what I've learned from my mom, when there wasn't pads, was that they would use towels instead. Towels and cloths. To capture the blood. I believe my mom back then would actually sew pieces of cloth there as well. So there are still a lot of places that still do that. That still use like a cloth instead. Like a cloth, towel, rags. I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know, it's just keep in your back of your mind like, oh yeah, here's a fun fact. You can bring it out to your friends and be like, hey, guess what? Haha, I know about this. Haha. You have a brother, Mercy? I don't have a brother. I only have a sister. So yeah, that's about it. If there's no more questions, let me know. Let me know if there are any more questions. So, tampons or pads, depending on your preference. My preference is a cup. I knew what I was getting into. I didn't expect to get it though. Well, if you have some understanding of it now, I'm really happy that I managed to imbue some knowledge onto you. I was like edumacation. So I hope this really helped, and I hope it was kind of fun to like learn a bit about the menstrual cycle. Maybe now that you know a little bit more about it, you can be a little bit more understanding if your mom kind of like loses it a little bit. So, yeah, just be more understanding about I guess like, you know, just be more understanding. You don't have to like avoid people, just be like understanding and be like, "Oh, okay. Maybe offer a little bit more help to your mom next time. Just be like, "Oh, hey, can I help you with that?" Or just offer to do the dishes this time or something. You know? Simple stuff. So yeah. Yeah, I think it's good. I learned about periods when I was quite young. Because, well, you know, you can get your period at like early, like as young as 8 years old. So I have a question, Kawaii. Why are humans so poorly designed? It just happens. It just happens, you know? You can even look at dogs and be like, wow, these guys are poorly designed too. And it just happens. Did learning early help you when you got it at first? Yeah, actually. I was ready for it, but I wasn't ready for how much blood I was gonna get. So I kind of panicked because I had so much blood. It looked like I had like, you know, like I legitimately killed someone. So yeah, when I first got mine, mine was kind of abnormal. So that's why I wasn't really ready for it, but I was aware of it. So I did have like pads ready, and I did understand that it was like something that, you know, everyone goes through. Well, not everyone, like anyone with a uterus goes through. But it the first time usually is panic inducing. You know? You know what I'm saying? Like, it is panic inducing at first, but having the knowledge that kind of like, you know, my mom went through this, my sister went through this, you know, my friends will go through this as well, really helped a lot. And, you know, I actually watched I believe it was a Disney cartoon about periods as well when I was in school, and it helped me feel more normal. It helped me feel more normal because in that like, it was like a black and white cartoon, and basically it just assured you that everything was normal and that you're not dirty, etc. And I really liked that. So when they showed it in school for everyone, I was more understanding about it. Generally saying, any kind of like health class, I believe, should start in elementary school, simply because once you hit puberty, both boys and girls, when they hit puberty, everyone's bodies start doing weird stuff. So it made me feel kind of normal. It made me feel like this was kind of normal, and that things would be okay. So like even boys can hit, like, you know, puberty quite early as well. That's why I feel like certain things like that is kind of needed in kind of like a gentle way. There are programs which kind of like tells you about it overall. Yeah, it's good to get a good brief in elementary, which is around, like, elementary school can be around like 8 years old. Yeah, 8 years old would be like, what, 3rd grade? So around that time, I think that is when I learned. Senpai, thank you, Anonymous, for 333. Any living being that can bleed for an entire week every month and not die is metal and badass, in my opinion. Thank you so much. Thank you for the informative stream, Mercy. Thank you. I thought you were gonna call someone a vampire. For a second there, you almost baited me. I had to like read ahead to make sure it wasn't something something offensive. But yeah, I generally think I know that a lot of boys would be like, why am I getting like these weird things on my face? I eat acne, or why is my voice cracking? That's a lot of things that you can learn from health classes. I really do think it's very beneficial to do it in a way where it's kind of like, oh, okay, this is normal. Okay. Enough about that. I'm trying to say this, and I'm trying to say the general stuff. So thank you everyone for joining me on today's lesson. I hope you had a good one. If there are no more questions, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and send you all somewhere else, mayhaps. So be good. Be good. I'm gonna send you on to Mew Akumiya from Specialite, who is playing Mega Man 6. Wait, is she drinking? Oh, this seems like it's gonna be a fun stream. I love Mew a lot, so I would love to raid into her as well. So thank you everyone for joining me once again. I hope that I was able to maybe teach you something new. If not, that's okay. You have all the power to the world for you, and the world is in your hands. The world is your oyster, so to say. So I'll see you all again next time. My schedule should be posted maybe tomorrow or Monday at the latest. Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Scream for mercy. Bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.